and we are here at Weston Park in Shropshire for the huge, or hopefully huge, classic car show. We're here in the trusty MX-5. The early ones of these, the bonnets could be opened either way, like an old Buick. Well, welcome to Old Classic Car Now. This weekend on Sunday, Easter Sunday, we're hoping to go down to Weston Park for the huge classic car show down there. We've got this one ready, but it almost didn't happen because on the, was it 2 or 3 days ago, I booked it in for its MOT and it failed. Couldn't believe it. The handbrake was very inoperative on the near side rear corner here, so I had to whiz it back home, wheel off, jack it up, take the caliper off and free up all the handbrake mechanism, which was all seized up, and also exercise the main piston in the caliper as well, just to improve the foot brake, because that was a little bit low as well. So it was back 9 AM the following day and it passed, a nice clean pass. That was all good news. So we are on for taking this down to Weston Park on Sunday. So what else have we been up to? Well, this morning we had a bit of a move around in the garage, the oldie garage, and now the Anglia is sat here because it was over there and it was a right palaver to get it out, because I had to move 2 things just to get it out through the garage doors. So I thought, well, the Morris doesn't need to go anywhere, so that can sit there for the time being, and this can be here, so we can just get it in and out of here. So hopefully we'll get a lot more use out of the Ford now that the good weather is here. It's a glorious weekend today. The forecast is looking really nice. We've also been laying out a few chocolate eggs for an imminent Easter egg hunt. There's one hiding away under the Mazda there. Well, it's Sunday morning, folks, Easter Sunday, and we are here at Weston Park in Shropshire for the huge, or hopefully huge, classic car show. We're here in the trusty MX-5, first car here in Section F, sports and convertible. I imagine before the day is through, this bit of field here will be full of cars just like it. And there's a good steady flow of older cars arriving. We had a good run over today. We were following something vintage, an old vintage Tourer, Vauxhall Victor FB in a Morris J type van, and I think a G-Reg Sierra XR 4x4. So I think there's going to be a bit of everything here today at Weston Park. Triumph TR3A pursues a Mini 95 van. Lovely P4 Rover Cyclops. That's an early one with a central lamp in the middle of the grille there. Another Mark 1 MX-5. Great pair of Ford Cortina Mark 1s there, and a lovely F-Type Victor Estate. I wasn't expecting to see one of those here today, but that's a beauty. And still they continue to pour in, the lovely yellow TR6 there. Very fruity sounding Capri behind that. Many Capris here today, in fact. What's that, a Honda Legend Coupe? When did you last see one of those? Some more Capris. And behind those two Fords we have a Ford Prefect, an E493A sit up and bake Ford Prefect, about 1952 or 53 or thereabouts. Good old 1172cc side-valve engine under that bonnet. White wall tyres as well. MGC Roadster. Ford P100 pickup. The Austin Rover Group fanatics are here. Montego, Maestro, more Maestros at the back there. Ford Escort Mark 5 is that in the middle? Look at that queue to get in. Anyone will think it's a bank holiday weekend. Oh, actually, it is a bank holiday weekend. Queues to the seaside often used to look like this back in the 1950s and 1960s, before the widespread building of motorways, bypasses, that kind of thing. This sort of view would have been pretty common back in the day. Snaking in here to Weston Park in sunny Shropshire today. A huge galaxy of classic cars and quite a few pre-war cars, which is good to see. We'll go and have a proper walk around those a little bit later on, but for now let's just record some of them arriving. Mighty Cadillac there, 1959, last year of the really big fins, before they started to tone things down a little bit. But what an incredible looking car that is. Look at the gap between the two people sat in there. Huge car. Mighty Buick of the late 30s. A big straight 8. And a Packard. There's a 100E Prefect we've seen at Crew Heritage and many other classic car shows before now. And still they continue to pour in another 100E Prefect, but no, I think this is a 107E, got the extra little dog leg on the front wing there, so that suggests it's got the overhead valve engine as also fitted to the 105E Anglia. So this was a bit of like a stopgap model. So you got the earlier shape of the 100E, and being a 4-door of course it's a Prefect, but they put the overhead valve engine in for the very last of the 100E range of cars. All cars pouring in, nice Triumph Stag, bright red Mark 1 MX-5, the NA series, just like ours, and a somewhat modified Dolomite. I'm not too well up on my American cars, so I don't know what we're looking at here, but it's a nice old girl, look at that. Ford Galaxy 500. A standard 10! Wow. Wow, a standard 10. Someone's going to be happy. Series 2 or 3 rather, Landy. What's this? I don't know. What is it? Perodua Nipper. ERF. Sandbatch's finest. XK8 I think. Or XKR. I don't know. What do we have here? We've got an Austin 10 Litchfield. This one's a regular here at Weston Park. Beautiful old mid-1930s Austin, complete with basket on the back. I think some of these cars are probably getting a little bit warm with all this queuing. Another ERF, an E10 on the G plate. So what's that, late 1980s? Feel sorry for some of these engines. I've heard quite a few electric fans whirring away. Mark III Cortina GXL 71 or 72, beautiful car. TR4 left-hand drive 1964. Hello. TR7 convertible, very nice too. Another ERF. It's quite a galaxy of big lorries here today. And a lovely little frog eye. Mark 1 Austin Healey Sprite, left-hand drive, so presumably an American import. Scania. What do we have here? The Mercury 1965. That's cool. That's a cracker, that is. Oh, they have Morris 8 Series 2. What's that? Escort. Is that an RS Turbo? Yeah. Granada Mark III, or possibly the Consul if it's an early one. It is a Granada L. Singer 4A Roadster. 4A? 4AB? D? AD. Right, it's a late one, it's a 4AD. A Triumph Stag. And still they continue to pour into Weston Park. Cracking little Beetle there. An SEC, a 126 series Mercedes-Benz. This could be a 380 or 420 or 500. Yeah, 500 SEC, C for Coupe. Of course they did the big saloons as well. An MGA Roadster. Real Bobby Dazzler. Morning. Chunky Defender. Like it means business. And an MGB. Lovely Elvis. What a beauty that is. Oh, we'll carry on our walk along here. Lincoln Continental. Fruity sounding Triumph Estate. Wow, I do like those. 2,500 injections. That's a PI car if it's still in the original spec. I think some of these cars are moaning a bit at having to queue up to get in. Magnet, beauty that is. Proper MG. MGTF. Oh, another J-type. Wowzers. I've never seen this one at the NEC and at Smallwood. We followed the green one in this morning, but aren't they beautiful, those little vans? A very fruity sounding MGB 1967 with side pipes under the doors. Rubber bumper GT. Moggy van in the same livery as the J-type we've just seen. Vans are standard, had slightly wider steel wheels compared to the saloons. Escort Estate. Wow. That sounds quite purposeful, this B. Big tyres. Mini, another MGTF and a VW camper. Let's carry on this walk up here. Go, there's classics everywhere you look. MG fixed head, that's a beauty, I like that. MG BGT chrome bumpers on Ross style wheels. Another one on very big mini lights. P1800S, beauty, I like that. Nice green as well. Makes a change from the Saint colours. Got a few MGTFs. Got something on the trailer here. Kit car, I'm not quite sure which one that is. TF XK8. Oh, we don't have to put the legwork in for these videos. MGB Roadster. MGC Roadster. Nice big straight six under that bonnet. MGB with a very interesting hardtop. Reminds me a bit of the Ashley hardtop that I used to have on my Spitfire. You could get quite a few different makers of these. There was Ashley and Heron, I think was another one. I don't know what that one is though. Daimler Dart, 2.5 litre V8 engine under that fiberglass body shell. And another one. Fantastic Transit. X-Type Estate. I'm very glad we got in early. I really am. Beautiful minivan over there next to this fruity Anglia. B Roadster over there. Nice early one. A Mustang MX-5. Sometimes you struggle to work out which cars are actually going into the show. I think the cut-off for this show is about 2007 or 2008, so sometimes you might actually be filming cars that are going into the public car park, and sometimes you might miss cars that are actually going into the show. P6 2200 TC, twin carburetors, tobacco brown, or tobacco leaf. A Series 1 XJ there, Daimler on a K plate, 71 or early 1972. Lovely sounding Mini. Another big caddy, 1959 Cadillac. Bedford CF. E30 Cabriolet. Minis everywhere. Must be backing down the road now, surely. X300. That's a 6-cylinder XJ. Beautiful Alpha 105 series over there. Mini, Audi, Riley Elf, by gum, MGB Roadster. Always a good turnout of MGBs, always have little different modifications. Wolseley Hornet, so there was a Riley Elf just down there somewhere. Now we've got the Hornet, SLK, Wolseley 1500 and a Morgan, BMW Z3, something or other, don't know what that is. Some Mitsubishi, nice Hillman Avenger Tiger. The Vanguard Estate, the Vignali Estate. That's a great bit of kit, that is. I think Harley's going to like that one. Yeah, that's a really rare little Backie over there, little pickup truck. Based on the Mark III Cortina. I think it's South African import, that one. Right, well we're nearly at the entrance to the show. There's a Humber Hawk speeding down the back there. I think we'll start ambling back towards the main show field, but as you can see there are cars as far as the eye can see still. It's incredible. It's like they're queuing for a toll, motorway toll. Nice P5B there. Fairly early Series 2 Morris Minor, still with the cheese grater grille that was fitted to the Highlight MMs before it. Some nice aged sign writing on the side of this Beetle. Much luggage as well. Let's go and find my youthful assistant and see where he is. I think he's way up there somewhere, so I think we'll go and catch up with him. But yeah, look at that beautiful Standard. I don't think the dog in the back's too pleased to see me, but what a great car that is. I think half of what we're looking at now is probably members of the public turning up just to come and have a walk around. So they're mixing it now with cars that are destined to be exhibiting here at Weston Park today. So I think that's probably explains why it's quite so busy, and beautiful weather, bank holiday weekend as well, so it's just yeah, it's going to be a really great turnout for this particular do. And look at that rally car on the back of the trailer there. There's a Chrysler dealer team 405 Peugeot estate. And look at that Hillman Hunter GLS. That's neat. Morning. There's our P5B saloon. Used to run one of those. Beautiful car. That is 3.5 litre V8 engine. See too many of these Fiat Ducatos now. This is a camper conversion, the Avon way. Fiesta XR2 Mark II. HC Series Vauxhall Viva there, a two-door car. Wow, a Vauxhall Velox, an E-Series Vauxhall Velox. So that was a mid-range car. You had the Wyvern, which was a 4-cylinder, and then for 6 cylinders you had the Velox, and then the Cresta above that with a bit of extra trim. The trim changed pretty much year on year. The early cars, the early examples of those, had side hinged bonnet which you could open from either side. What a beauty that is, I like that. Cobra replica in hot pursuit of a Mark IV Spitfire. Well, I think most of the cars and other vehicles are in now, so let's have a quick shufty at the lorry lineup. We've got a Ford and Thames 4D here, early mid-1950s, something like that. You had the 4D, which had the diesel engine, and the ET6, which had the petrol engine. And Shelvoke and Drury, a lot of these were refuse wagons. Newark Rural District Council uses a sewage tanker. Shelvoke and Drury specialised in that kind of vehicle. This one's now got a flatbed body on it. That's a rare bird, that is. It's that milk float we saw driving them before. ERF, Scania, an incredible Heimer camper. This one on the front panel looks very reminiscent of the early Bedford CFs, the Mark I Bedford CF, although it's got an Opel badge on this one, but I think we can see that the origins are definitely in that neck of the woods. Got a Reliant van, early 1950s, 49, there we go, 1949, for speedy delivery at lowest running costs. Little cracker that is. There's the two Morrises we saw driving in before. A Traveller in grey, you don't see them in that colour too often. And a Porterfold caravan. I bought one of these about 30 years ago from the Bewley Auto Jumble, folding caravan, fiberglass bodied. Really handy little things these are. You lift the roof up and then the sides sort of flop in and the ends flop down, and the roof sits down on top of it, so it sits about yay high, somewhere like that. Really handy thing. We camped at a few classic car shows in ours. I was tempted to buy one just a few days ago, but it didn't meet with universal approval at OCC HQ, so that idea was shelved indefinitely. But what a great little thing that is. Towed in by the Morris. There's quite a gaggle of Mark I Cortinas here, a trio, all different versions. We've got a two-door here, 66. An earlier car here. Is this badged up as a Consul, perhaps? Yep. Very early Mark I Lotus Cortina that we've seen many, many times. Triumph Herald 1360. Vauxhall Vivet, that's the HA series, 1966. Just to show the variety of cars that we have here at Weston Park today. The Jensen CV8, that's a 1965 car. There were three different versions of the CV8. They didn't change a great deal, but they did have slightly different bumpers on the different versions. The Lotus Europa. Oh, there he is. My youthful assistant recording for his car traction channel. Two great Lotuses. That's quite an early Europa on steel wheels. That looks good. Elan, two-door Cortina. Let's just have a quick look under the bonnet of these two. Well,
because the one screws look
What a clean car that is, as is this one alongside it. I thought it was going to be sunny today. Anyway, as long as it stays dry, that's all that matters. I wonder what... Yes, I wonder where you were.
Celebrity.
Eh?
I'm meeting a celebrity.
Indeed, yes. Would you like a selfie?
Yes, please. Can I have an autograph?
Oh, can't go that far. Right, let's carry on having a look around. We've got a very smart late model MG Midget 1500, a van version of a bay window VW. That's a nice old thing, isn't it? Radio and television. Nice bit of aged sign writing. Is that original? Kind of looks it. Now, I'm not quite sure the layout of the fields here. There's a brown dolly. But I think most of the older cars are over here, close to the Weston Park Hall itself. Let's have a quick look over here. I've got a hot rod. Next to that, a glorious in green Humber Hawk of the mid-1950s. That is beautiful. That is the kind of car I've got in mind if I get like a long distance car. That is beautiful. Look at that. What a comfy old car that is. Beautiful. Here's an interior view of that 1954 Humber Hawk. What a beauty. Totally original. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love the radio as well. That's so what radio is it? Is it a Radiomobile? Wow. Isn't that just fantastic?
We're going to the Llandy Dudno.
It's a transport festival coming up, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, are you going there?
3 days. Yeah, we're there 3 days.
Oh wow.
We've got we always put a thing in the window for them.
Yeah.
But oh no, we love that show.
I've not been there for years, about 30 years probably. I've not been there.
Really?
But, yeah, but we're going to try and get down there. The Traction Avant, the Citroën Traction Avant. Wow. Now this is a left-hand drive car. Now I thought, I don't know much about these, I'm afraid, the light 15s, but I thought when the chevrons were on the outside of the grille, that pointed out a Slough-built car, but I could be wrong on that one, because clearly it's a left hooker, this one. But either way, what a Bobby Dazzler. Look at that lovely little parking light there. Sunbeam Talbot Tourer. Next to that gorgeous Humber Hawk. I was just chatting to the owners of this. They use it all the time. They've owned it for years. Oh, what a beautiful car that is. Absolute cracker. There's that glorious straight 8 Buick that pulled in before. What a cracker. There's something about this era of American cars. This is a Canadian built in McLaughlin, is that how you pronounce it? McLaughlin Buick 8 of Canada. That explains why it's right-hand drive then. Wow. Complete with mirror on top of the spare wheel cover there. Next to the Packard that followed it in. Lost in 10.4. Here we go, standard 10, 1958. So a couple of years newer than our standard 8. And this had the mighty 948cc engine. Just an evolution of our car's engine, the SC engine, as it was called when it first came out. Wow. Still got the original, a copy of the original purchase invoice. Cotswold blue with vinide trimming with manufacturer's heater. Of course, heaters were very much an optional extra on most cars in the 1950s. Well, that's a cracker that is. There's a Morris 8 Series 2 because it's got the painted radiator surround and those easy clean wheels. 2-door car. You could also get the 4-door saloon as well, and a Tourer. See quite a few Tourers around. There's that Singer, the 4AD. That's quite a late one. Singer 9. The earlier Singer Roadsters had a slightly longer, deeper grille on them. This is a contemporary of the Singer SM 1500, the saloon. Beautiful badge on there. If you've not seen the photo compilation video that I did recently just for Singer cars, please check that out when you're finished here. This is an Elvis, a TA14. Always good to see a bit of information on the screen. Clearly it was looking a little bit time worn. But it's looking beautiful now. Big old no-tech lamp in the middle there. Pair of Hooters, they're original. Nice early Elvis Owners Club badge. XJS. And over here, the Triumph 1300, the front wheel drive Triumph 1300. And the later Dolomite alongside that on sprint alloys. I think this is a Triumph 1850. It's been upgraded with the Dolly sprint wheels. Oh, two great old Triumphs together. The thing I remember about these is if I've got the right car, the window winders fold flush into the door. I might be wrong. Yeah. Yeah, nice quality little car these were. Hello. Right, let's carry on having a look at the classic cars. Like I say, I think this is the area where most of the earlier cars are going to be. So I've got a mighty Triumph Roadster here. Quite interesting proportions. Very long front on these. And quite a short stubby tail. She's got the dicky seat in the back as well. So this bit hinges out and there's a seat squab there, and then these little screens hinge that away, and it gives a bit of protection to the people sat in the back. The mother-in-law seat, yeah, it's got some extra indicators on there, but originally it would have just relied on the pop-up semaphores, the trafficators. Look at the quality of that dashboard. We certainly knew how to build quality cars in the years following World War II. Shame it's all gone now. It's a bit of a downer. We've got a Renault GTA Turbo here. A little MG Tourer, a little 4-seat Tourer. So is that based on the YA or the YB? One of the two, I would have thought. We actually passed the YB on the way over here, but he was going in the opposite direction, so I'm not sure where he was off to. Yeah, so this would be what, late 1940s, beginning of the 1950s. It's still very pre-war in inspiration. This is the XR 4x4, and indeed the Vauxhall Victor FB that we followed down the road, down the AE41 on the way down here to Weston Park today. Really nice early 60s saloon. The Morris J-Type or the JB, I'm not quite sure which one this is. The J-Type had the side valve Morris Oxford MO engine, and then the JB came along with a 4-speed as opposed to a 3-speed gearbox, and the BMC B-Series engine of 1489cc. So the later JBs were probably a little bit easier to drive now on modern roads, but I'd be quite happy with either. And I've just been preparing a compilation of photographs all about the Morris J-Types, the JBs, and there was the Austin badge version as well, the Austin 101. So that may have already been published, but if it hasn't, please keep an eye out on the channel for that. And there's mighty gorgeous Austin, a vintage Austin Tourer, probably a 12.4. Yep, Austin 12.4 Clifton, manufactured 1926. Wow, look at that, as found. What a Bobby Dazzler that is. This is certainly shaping up to be my favourite corner of the show so far. Got another Singer 9 Roadster here. This is a 4AB this time. Lovely original plate on there. Next to that, an Austin 10-4 drophead coupe, or cabriolet I think they call these. Built 1932 to 1934, this model. Then it was replaced by the Litchfield, which we saw over there, that one there. That's an Austin 10-4 Litchfield, but this is the predecessor, the chrome rad Austin 10-4. You could get saloons in wide or narrow body form, and these 3-position roof cabriolets, and they're quite rare. I used to have one of these. But really nice. So you can have the roof fully up like it is here. This looks like it's the original roof fabric. So you can have it fully up like this, or you can roll back just the forward edge of the roof here if you just want a bit of fresh air for the people sat in the front. It's a 4-seater. There's a little seat in the back there as well. So you could have it with just that roll back to here, or you could have the whole shooting match down. You've got these pram irons here, so these pop out and that allows it to hinge down, and you've got fully open air motoring for 4 people. So if you want a little family pre-war tourer, you could do a lot worse than try and find one of these, but they're very few and far between now. I'd suggest joining the Austin 10 Drivers Club if you want to find one of these, because otherwise you could be waiting quite a long time, I would have thought. Now, there are a couple of lovely Austin A90 Atlantics at the NEC just a few weekends ago. I wonder if this was one of them. There aren't too many of them around. It's always tickled me, this 3-piece windscreen, because obviously wraparound windscreens weren't yet a thing for the majority of cars, I wouldn't have thought back at the time. So to get a curve, you certainly couldn't curve a large piece of glass, so you've got a, looks pretty much flat, I think, maybe a slight curve on it, but you have to have these as separate pieces. Pretty cool things. These were designed, as the name implies, for the American market really, but they didn't really take to it. They had enough cars of their own, I think, with huge engines in, so it didn't sell as well as perhaps they hoped. That's a cracking car, that is. You've got the fixed head version as well, and they have a wind-up window. The rear window actually winds down inside the back of the car on the fixed heads. But yeah, great cars, look at them. Such exuberant design, you know, given Austins at the time were usually fairly sedately styled, your Devons and your Somersets, that kind of thing. So this was really, really quite eye-catching, these jazzy metallic colours, twin flying A's, beautiful enamel badge, central lamp in the middle there, a bit like the old Cyclops Rover that we saw before, but yeah, what a cracker that is. And over here we've got the owner of this fantastic A90 Atlantic we were just looking at. So what's the story with this engine then? I can see a little badge on the top.
Yeah, the Austin used the engine later on in the Austin Healey 100.
Right,
so
right.
It's a 2.6 litre 4-cylinder. So when you've got the engine apart, you might as well do the modifications. This is done to Le Mans spec.
Right.
So it's got higher lift cam, double valve springs, and higher compression pistons in it.
Wow.
So it really does go. They built this engine specifically for the Atlantic to get into the American market. It's
Right,
a very,
okay.
very torquey, long-legged unit,
Right.
because they built it to cruise from New York to coast to coast,
it's
you
all
know.
about distance, wasn't it?
And yeah, we're lucky we can get the parts for the engine. All the trim parts, of course, are all unique to this car, but because a lot of the mechanical parts are shared with Austin Healey, then it's quite easy to get the upgrades.
I've got a
for
book at home somewhere that was produced when they did that, the endurance run. Was it at Indianapolis? Was it Indianapolis,
that's right.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a really interesting book, that is. Produced just after they did it.
Yeah, that's written by Alan Hess. I mean, the car was actually the same colour as this, seafoam green metallic.
Oh, right.
But they had an accident with the bonnet. It blew up as they were going round one of the laps, and they replaced it with a bonnet off the sister car, which was red.
Right.
So the Indianapolis car is seafoam green, but it's got a red bonnet.
Is that why they didn't stop at all? Because I know with some of these endurance runs, they sort of set up these sort of frames where they could service the cars while they were still driving, didn't they?
No, they just used the standard pits,
Did they?
and they
Right,
were allowed
right.
to come in for the pit stop.
Were they? Oh, right.
Yeah, and they broke a lot of records then, but unfortunately, the American didn't really still interest the Americans. You know,
all in the name of publicity, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was to try and get the brand registered. I mean, this car was one of the first Austin really to have the phrase Austin of England on it, because the Americans didn't know anything about Austin. They thought it was a place in Texas.
And it was all export or die at the time, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and this car was really like a flagship car for the dealerships they were setting up, so they have one really glitzy car in the dealerships, really.
Because I think a lot of the car companies just after the war, they had to demonstrate that they were really going for the export market in order to get the allocations of steel as well.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, I think they were on about a 70% to 30% export ratio. So these were not really offered for the home market.
No.
By 1950, when this car was built, this was built in the last week of manufacture. They'd relaxed that a little bit. So this is a home market car, which is very rare.
So a lot of the smaller Austin Counties cars ended up in Canada and places like that, didn't they?
That's right. Yeah. And in the rebuild on this, I've had stuff shipped from parts shipped from Canada, Australia, and in California. You know, I think these are so rare. You've got to network your contacts to get the parts in.
Whenever you see anything for sale, you just grab it, even if you don't need it.
Absolutely, yeah. Particularly the trim parts, the chrome parts, they're just really unobtainable.
Yeah, I'll bet. Let's have a quick peek in through the window.
Yep, sure.
Yeah. Wow. That's just such a stylish dashboard, and the radio, the Echo radio, is it? Yeah. Wow.
Do you want to
Yeah, let's have a quick peek inside. Yeah. I love the embossed flying A on the door panel there. That's just fantastic.
So this was the first UK production car to have electric hood and windows.
So was that standard? Was it electric windows? Was it an option? Was it? Wow. Ooh, let's get a demonstration. Electric windows. Wow. Wow, that's incredible, isn't it? I bet that cost a few bob extra.
Oh yeah.
I'll bet.
A lot of money.
I'll bet it was, yeah.
Because this was one of the last ones they built on the production run, they just put everything on it.
Just threw everything at it, yeah. Wow.
And they got Echo to build...
Because it all blends in with everything else, doesn't it? Yeah.
It has, actually, the radio's got shortwave on it, which is unusual, but in America... all the towns had shortwave radio stations, so they asked Echo to put a shortwave unit in as well as long and medium wave.
Wow, that's incredible. Isn't that incredible? Electric windows and a power hood. You can tell America was very much in mind when this A90 Atlantic was in the design stages. What a cracker. Let's have a closer look at this F-Type that's next to the glorious Atlantic. You can see the exhaust pipe sticks out through the corner of the rear bumper. That's a sign that it's an early car, because on the revised sort of Series 2's F-Type Victors, they got rid of that, they dispensed with that. I think the condensation used to cause the bumper to rot out, but these did rot anyway. This is a 1958 F-Type, exported to Australia as a kit and built up by Holden Motors. Look at the bodywork on that, just incredible. Just like the Atlantic, lashings of chrome everywhere. So if you're going to restore either of these cars, you're going to need fairly deep pockets, certainly with the rechromers. Next to that, we've got a Shropshire registered Austin A35. MGTF. A magnificent Rolls Royce here. I think I might have to look at this one just to find out who bodied this one. But yeah. Complete with wind down partition and cut glass decanter. Ah, now we saw this driving in before. A LaSalle, or Cadillac LaSalle.
Yeah, I like it.
According to the license plate, came from Ohio, and it's a 1940 car. There's a few cars, but I've not really started yet, so I've not really. Well, yeah, I have, but you know, I've not been around everything. Just look at the details on that.
It's massive, isn't it?
Incredible looking car. Oh no, there's a lot here. We're going to have to be.
It's the 70s and it's not half the field live in that.
We've got a Dodge pickup here. Looks really original. We like original Dodge pickups. Got a Chevy here. This is American corner we find ourselves in, so let's stick with this for a moment. What's that, about 56 or 7? Chevrolet Bel Air. Got Lincoln Continental.
This is a Mark IV. Nick has a Mark IV.
A little opera window in the back there. Got a 60, I think, Cadillac. Is this a 60? Pretty sure it's a 64. Totally original, unrestored Cadillac Fleetwood. One Texas owner for 50 years. Chevrolet van. Mac 1 Mustang, we saw that coming in before. Chevy truck, jacked up to 6.2 litre Detroit diesel engine. A Pontiac, that's a rare one. 56 Chevrolet two-door. There's that State Trooper that we saw pulling in a little earlier on this morning. Big Caddy, Ford, and still cars are coming in. Got a Plymouth here. Is this a Roadrunner? Yep. Beep beep. Surprisingly breezy. The sun is starting to break out, which is good. Yeah, it's a surprisingly breezy day, so apologies if there's any wind noise on the microphone. There's our Mercury, the 4-door Mercury that we saw driving in before. Super original paint on this one. So it's huge. It's got a wind down rear window, so it's got a reverse rake rear window, a bit like our own 105Es in this country. Yeah. But this one winds down. That's pretty cool. Big old Ford, the Galaxy 500. Hiding over the back here, next to this American metal, is quite an early-ish Citroen 2CV. You can tell the early ones from a distance because they haven't got the extra little window in the back quarter there. So what's this one, about 58, 60, something like that. It's a 64. You can tell how much I know about Citroen 2CVs, but it's a very bonny little example again with a parking light on the side. It's very similar to that on our Renault at home. A little 4CV. We've got a Citroen DS next to the Light 15 now. left-hand drive. What year is this one? It's on an M, so it's a fairly late example. What an incredible looking car that is. The DS20. Another Austin 10.4 Chrome Rad. This one's a saloon. We saw the 3-position cabriolet before. Oh, mighty Elvis here. Oof. ELL 476. Really? Okay, I think that's quite enough of that. Let's go over here.
They never calm down. No, someone else has just said that to us.
There's the little British Railways van. Well, the siren stopped, so that's great news. Let's have a quick scoot along here while we can. Like this. 1949 Chevrolet. I did size up one of these sort of last year sometime when we were thinking of getting something else, but it wouldn't fit in the garage unfortunately. But yeah, great looking car, very usable car, that good spare support. And this is the era of American car I really do like, before all the Finns came along. I mean, the Finns are really impressive looking cars, but these are just a little bit more subdued and a little bit classier to my eyes anyway. Maybe I'm just getting old. Yeah, that's lovely, that is. Nice colour as well. Very original looking paint. Can't beat a bit of patina. As long as it's not deteriorating, bit of patina is perfect. And I love the fact that that paintwork has been on there, I think, probably since 1949. We've got a Caddy Fleetwood here a bit later. We're over 75. And the dolly and the little VW van that we saw before. Okay, next to bevy of Cortinas and that little frog eye we saw coming in. Wow, look at this, the executive. Is that the Zodiac, isn't it? 1967. What a beast. These are few and far between now. No, that's nice. Interesting colour as well, really unusual colour, that little Porsche 356 Coupe 1964. Okay, next row. Very smart maroon Morris Traveller. And there's that HC Viva we saw come in before. And the little Hillman Husky, work in progress. So it's more or less the same body shell as the Comma Cobb van, just with added windows and a rear seat. Now, did the van have 2 rear doors, or was it the same as this with a single one-piece door? I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me know in the comments if you know. But yeah, a rare thing that is now. A few years ago I found myself in a bit of an overgrown field or woodland area somewhere over in the east of the country, and there were lots and lots of Roots Group vehicles dotted around in the undergrowth, including quite a few of these. I bet there were 10 of those. Now we've got a Fiat 1500, a 1964 Fiat 1500 Cabriolet. Very, very stylish little car indeed. Just look at that beautiful dashboard. The Italians really knew what they were doing. Perfect on a day like this. The sun is breaking out. Still a bit of a breeze, but it's not raining. That's the main thing. Rally prepared. Daily Mirror World Cup Rally Land Crab. Austin 1800. Wow, it's amazing that survived. What an incredible car that is.
Yeah, because he says to me, he says, I've had engine reconned, and these were the two-door Magnum, but he'd had the, what I call the shitty down. I've had all 7 like a V.
Right, let's keep working our way around here. There's so many cars here today. Ooh, bits and pieces for sale. We see things for sale. Commer Express delivery van handbook, Morris 8. Nice little Lucas spot lamp there, SU carburetor. Got a bit of a replica here. I think this is based on a BMW Z3. It's sort of in the spirit of the old Zagato bodied DB4. Fantastic F-Type Victor estate. Ooh. Now this is a later one with a later shaped grille compared to the red F-Type Victor that we saw over the way. What a useful car that is. Got all your picnic gear in the back of that one, wouldn't you? And like I was saying before, by this point in time, the slightly later F-Types, they didn't have the exhaust poking through the corner of the rear bumper. Anglia Deluxe, a little 105E Anglia there, that's a 1967 car. And a somewhat modified console Capri. I heard this one driving in before. You can tell there was something different under the bonnet here. Many cylinders, 8 I think, if I can count correctly.
Got a V8, that thing.
There's that little standard 8 Deluxe. So we saw a 10 before, but now this is a standard 8 Deluxe. Oh, wowzers. It's in a bit better nick than ours is. And it's got an opening boot, good lord. That isn't a upmarket standard 8. It's got a nice radio in it. Next to this bonny little standard 8, we've got this. Now this is an unusual one. It looks like it's sort of similar era to the MO Oxford, but it's a pickup. Wow, and it's left-hand drive. So where's this coming from? Does this come from America, possibly? At first I thought it might be an Aussie import, but that would be a right-hand drive. But yeah, that one, yeah, I'm not sure. Cowley. I mean, Cowley was the name applied to the saloons. Maybe the pickups too, I don't know. And there's that Wolseley horn that we saw driving in before. Oof. Another vintage car, we need a bit more vintage here. And answering the call is this glorious Bentley over here. Wow, I haven't seen this one before. A Daimler 250 here, the 2.5 litre V8 engine in the bonnet, 1967. Next to the Morris 1100 that came in before, Mark II Jaguar. Lovely 3.8, the daddy. Lovely Series 1 Daimler. I do like the Series 1 XJs. I've had 2 or 3 of these a few years back now. Very nice early MGB. You can tell it's an early one, as we've mentioned before, because it's got the pull door handles. Most of them didn't have that. I think it's for safety reasons. They came up with a fixed handle and a little push button on it. We may have seen this one at Race Retro actually, or there was one, I'm sure it's the same colour as that at Race Retro. The P1800S. Basically the same running gear as the Volvo Amazon, the 122S and the 121. Although twin carbs on this, the 121 only had a single carburettor. A couple of Daimlers here. That bonny little Alfa Romeo. Isn't that an elegant little coupe? Look. RS2000, RS Turbo, and Fiesta. I hope I brought enough batteries today. There's so much here to have a look at, but we'll try and do our best. There's that glorious Maserati that came in before. We'll have a look at that when we come down that row. But here, bright red Stag with hardtop. Triumph 2500 PI. These make for a nice usable car. A lovely 2.5 litre straight six waffle as well, which is always a good thing. TVR. Another P1800S. That's on some very rare wheels. I've got a feeling they were Volvo optional wheels. P1800E. So that's the fuel injected car. So let's keep going. We've got the upmarket version of the HCV. This is a Vauxhall Magnum metallic paint vinyl roof. That's in wonderful condition, that one.
Of course, everybody, as the competing cars come in, please come and have a look.
Let's carry on having a mooch around in the middle of all the cars on display here at Weston Park today. Got a 2200 SC. So we saw a TC driving in before, that tobacco leaf brown one. And now we've got the SC, which is single carburettor. Of course, originally this was designed with a gas turbine and propulsion in mind, but that didn't happen. Mercedes for sale. Let's carry on down here. Some gentleman's just offered to send me a box of period brass wheel nuts. So that's very kind of him. That's really appreciated, that is, because they're always handy, especially when you've got a few old cars dotted around. You can never have too many spares on the shelf. So yeah, I look forward to seeing those. Right, let's carry on up here. Beautiful E-Type midget here with an unusual hardtop. A very airy hardtop with a Perspex screen in the roof. That's an unusual one. And there's that wonderful Maserati that came in before. Wow. Proper car with nice deep sidewalls, none of these silly big wheels and tiny rubber band tyres that you get on modern supercars. Proper comfy ride you'll get on those. Maserati Indy. That's a very swish car. Look at that. An electric aerial, all the mod cons. Wow. That's beautiful. Twin fuel fillers. Just follow the line of the rear side windows. One either side. Look at those door handles. I mean, they're a work of art in their own right. Apologies for my shadow there. Yeah. That's a proper treat to see that. Quite a few minis here today, including this quite a late example of a Mini 95 van. These didn't change much at all throughout production. You've still got the outside door hinges and the slidey door windows. And it should have a painter, yep, a pressed, simple, basic, painted front end there, the grille. Quite a few people have retrofitted sort of saloon type grills onto their vans and pickups, but a proper van or pickup should have that pressed metal body colour grille. And the early vans had a little vent in the roof, just in about there, with the same roof vent as they had on the A35 and the A30 vans, of course. Gaggle of sports cars here, MGB GT, Spitfire 1500, complete with tax disc. Nice trio of Spitfires. We did see a Mark III driving in before. I wonder where that's parked at. Mini Rio, limited edition Mini. There's that Triumph Estate. Citroen 2CV. Fiat 500 that came in before, 71-ish.
It is sports cars and convertibles. sports cars and convertibles. Let's have your arena.
Right, let's go down the next row, see what gems we can find down here.
One of our biggest sections. Oh, you know what I did a show down at Leonard Palace.
There's that Granada L that came in before. Wow, look at those, dig those crazy seat covers. Not just right on a 1970s car like that. That's a super clean example, isn't it? Complete with a supplying dealer sticker in the back window. Don Everall of Wolverhampton, not very far from here. Wolverhampton, in Mexico, 1600 GT. There's that Mark III Cortina based pickup truck, or Bakkie as they tend to be called in South Africa, where I think that's where this one was actually built. And another Spitfire on the end of the row here, flying the flag for Standard Triumph. A few classic bikes here as well, BSA, Triumph, Norton, Triumph again, Bull Taco, complete with electric start. You put the rear wheel on those rollers and they spin up and that starts your engine for you. Saves push starting it. Another B's are there.
The whole process a bit easier than your standard kind of insurance call centre.
Now, I'll do you underwrite this. Derek is at the top end of the arena. Come on and see Michael and
Okay, let's carry on past the Granadas. So many cars here today at Weston Park. I don't think I've ever been here with it this busy. Series 3 Daimler, Jaguar 85, Mark 1 Transit camper van, complete with those Zodiac style wheel trims. Capri, XK8, XJ40 Jaguar, these are nice. The Scimitar GTC, the cabriolet version. There's that 6-cylinder X300 series, XJ. A few more modern cars around here, so we'll just have a quick skip around here. This is a Mini 30, 1989, celebrating 30 years then of the classic Mini. I don't think we'll ever be able to record all the cars that are here today, but we'll do our best. If I didn't include your car, sorry about that. But I don't think we'll be able to see everything that's here because it's just huge, and I've got a feeling we'll run out of batteries long before we finish walking around this huge car show. A really, really nice Escort Mark 1 twin cam. Very subtle looking, no big wings or wheels or fog lamps or anything like that. Just a very understated looking car. Looks pretty much like any other two-door Mark 1 Escort apart from those slightly wider steel wheels. That's a beauty, that is. Got a pair of Lotus XLs here. I remember helping a mate of mine drag one of those back from South Wales in many pieces. Big old Volvo. Is this an S90? Oh, 960.
They have a 740. They're the base model, low down like that.
Lotus Esprit. Rubber bumper GT MGB with aftermarket sunroof. Escorts. A few Escorts around here. Mitsubishi 3000 GTO, Rover Mini Cooper, Mark 1 Astra. Big eye on the front is that Ermshire. Ermshire were a company that did a lot of performance and tuning and styling updates for the Vauxhalls and Opals in the 70s and 80s, I guess. So I'm guessing that's what that is. Must be quite rare now. Classic rangy XKR. So it's a supercharged version of the XK8 with the louvers on top of the bonnet. The standard XK8 didn't have that. Quite an early discovery here. Granada, or is it Scorpio? Escort Cabrio, Orion, a little VW pickup on the end here. Must be getting up towards the sports car section where we are. Got a Citroen here, another one, but this is a big 15, so this is a long wheelbase car. These were built, it says, from 1934 to 1957. Volvo, is that a 440 or something like that? Yes, a 440. Bits on this for sale in front of this Escort. Anything we need? Don't think so. Right. Maestro Rover 100. Nice. One of the Carmen Golf Cabriolets. Another Rangy. There's that Perodua Nipper. A 106 Peugeot. Got a variety of Jaguars here, XJS. One of the aluminium bodied X350s. S-Type. Another aluminium bodied car. XKs and a few more XJSs down the end now. Behind us there's another Mark 1 MX-5. Let's have a quick scoot around here. We've just refueled with bagel, so should have a bit of energy for a bit more walking around. A Tickford modified Capri.
Can I give you one price?
I used to have a Z3 2.8. Great accessibility with this huge bonnet lifted up. It's actually a really nice car, actually. Another one there. Right. This is sort of towards the more modern end of things, but we've got this Avenger Tiger here, so we mustn't ignore this one because, yeah. More often than not, you see them in that sort of yellowy, orangey sort of colour. That's probably quite rare in that colour. Again, another nice dealer supplier sticker there. Right, let's keep going. Have a quick scout round and just see what we can see. A few more MX-5s, MG V8, another Scimitar GTC. So these were made in Tamworth, which isn't all that far away from here. Porsches. Let's keep going over here. There's a few interesting cars I can see this away. Much modified Dolly. Very, very modified Dolomite. Still got a Triumph engine, but this time with twin Webers feeding it. Blue Stag.
I'm not having it yet, so it's a bit warm, really.
Let me know in the comments if you've owned any of these cars either back in the day, or maybe you own one of them now. Maybe you own one of these actual cars that make it into this video. In which case, please say hello in the comments. A Marina TC Coupe. Wow. You don't see one of them every day. Is that the same colour as Dad's MGB? Wow. Leyland ST special tuning. That's great, that is, isn't it? Full length roof, vinyl roof as well. Lake Air service. Wow, there's a spoiler on it, good heavens. Is that a proper special tuning spoiler? So that's a rare accessory if that's the real deal. I'm assuming it is, but it's not something I know a great deal about, but wow. Leyland special tuning. That's great, that is. What a time warp car that is. Look at the dash as well. Wow. Coupe. Again, just like that Marina we were looking at, the vinyl roof. That's always a sign of a plush version of any particular car. I'm sure Harley spotted this next to the wartime Jeep. A Triumph GT6 Mark II with many carburettors, triple Webers. Good grief. Wow. So this was the second of the three main versions they did of the GT6. This had the Rotoflex rear suspension, which made it handle a bit better than the earlier swing axle cars. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I remember Harley speaking to the owner of this one at a previous show. This is an ex-police, an ex-Dorset and Bournemouth Police Authority car. Obviously we'll be focusing on typically the older cars here because the channel is all about classic cars, hence the name Old Classic Car. But this Opel Ascona is a bit of a rarity. We've seen a Marina Coupe and here a Marina Camper. Oof. Wow. Is that a Sun Tour? That looks very original. All the mod cons. Little stove there in the back and the tiny little sink.
Most of them.
This old Ford Fairlane's quite an eye-catching car as well. 4-door sedan. And very clean in here, beautiful. Nice little lamp there. I did see an information thing in the window, so let's go and have a quick shufty at that. Ford Fairlane 500 built in Ontario, Canada. Oh, that's a pretty cool set of wheels, that is. The Consul Capri, this one looks probably a bit more original than the other one. The other one had a V8, I think, if memory serves. And there's a GTM. So is this the GTM Rossa? Yeah, it's the Rossa. My uncle had one of the very first Cox GTMs in the early 1970s, and this is like an evolution of that original car. I remember seeing this super original TR2 here last year. If you haven't seen the video yet for Weston Park 2022, please, hey, hang on a minute. That's my old drawing. I drew that. I drew that picture many, many years ago, and that's on somewhere on the main Old Classic Car website. I think it's on that motoring.
Yeah, it's on that motoring.
Motoring phrases and terms. Yeah.
Parts,
Yeah. Yeah, fancy seeing my little old drawing on there. I don't know. Right. We've got a Sprite, a Mark II Sprite, or is it a Mark III, a round wheel arch? A few moderns here. A couple of nice Citroen 2CVs here. Wow.
Same colour, aren't they?
Yeah, they make a nice pair. Yeah, it's great to see those two here together. Right, let's carry on, see what we can find. There's that E21, a C1 2.3 we saw driving in from a distance before when we were over near the entrance. It is cool. Another MGB GT V8 and a Bedford CA Dormobile. So this would have been converted by Martin Walter. They did a lot of the camper conversions on Bedford CAs and even on the CFs, I think. Yeah.
Can't believe it,
I know. Yes, the years are catching up with me. A bit more room in this one compared to the Morris Marina camper we saw before.
Did you see there's a transit one?
Yes, there's a Mark 1 transit camper, isn't there? Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? The Morris 8 Series E, a little two-door Series E with the headlamp conversions on it. 7-inch seal beam headlamp conversions that were quite popular in the 1950s. The original headlamps, this is added on this bit. The original like a teardrop slopey headlamps. That's the original Morris bit, and this is the aftermarket headlamp conversion, because these headlamps are a bit more effective, I think, than the old slopey 6-volt lights that used to be on them. Right, XK140 in bright red. Wowzers, that's shiny. A little Alpha GTV, probably 1750 or 2000 GTV. E-Type, rubber bumper midget, TVR 350i, TR6 in brown, two-tone brown. You don't see that colour. That's great, that is.
The size of the wolf is on.
Oh, yeah. Massive. I've never seen one in that colour scheme before.
That's what I was thinking when I saw it. I was like, whoa.
That's pretty wild. A Toyota Sierra or Sierra with the lift-up doors. Alpha Spider. P5B Coupe with a lower roofline, still a 4-door like the saloon, but much lower roofline. 996 is it? First of the water-cooled 911s. Yeah, Marina, that's a facelifted Marina. S-Class. And the Zodiac Mark IV. Wow. The Lotus, which one's this one? I never know my elites from my eclats. Does it not? I never know which is which. Ford Anglia here. Yes, and that's a fairly basic model with the sealed in rear side windows as opposed to the opening rear windows. I might be wrong. Yes, it is. It's the Fleet model, I think they call these, with a narrower grille. That's very similar to the Anglia-based van, the Thames 307E. That had the narrow little grille on it as well.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a very bonny little car. Mark 1, of course. Metro. Mini Clubman Estate. Ooh, Viva HA. You like your HAs, don't you?
I do like my HAs.
Yeah.
Just a compact, nice little saloon.
Yeah, we're getting through batteries quickly now, so we'll have a quick scooter around and pick our favourites out, including this fantastic 6-cylinder Velox. Novas. Mustang notchback. Oh, this is the one we saw coming on the trailer before.
Last year, it's off the November, isn't it? Yeah. All the front bumper had to get one from Detroit.
We drove over a curve.
Scimitar SE6.
The silence says it all.
SL600. Got an SLC along here, so at first glance it looks a bit like any old SL, but the SLC was a longer wheelbase car with a fixed roof. It looks kind of like a roadster with a hardtop on it, but that is a fixed roof. Such variety here today at Weston Park. We've got a Series 1 Land Rover next to a Renault 5 Turbo.
Tell us your woes.
Wow. What a clean little car that is. I love the lamps on the front there. SEV Marshall.
That TR's lovely.
Yeah, cracking TR, isn't it? Left hooker with hardtop.
French.
Yeah, it's got a clip on. Well, these are like for continental trips, so you clip them onto your existing headlamps.
That is lovely.
That's nice. There's that doggy that was woofing at me from the back of the Vanguard estate earlier. And we've got a Gilburn GT 1966 Audi Mark 1 Escort van A cracking little Beetle here. Lovely two-tone one. I'm guessing the bumper's off an earlier one. Ernie the Beetle. Nice old style crop look as well. Oh. Staffordshire registration. More camper goodness here in the shape of a left-hand drive splitty VW. Oh, cool is that?
Porsche wheels on these.
Mm.
928. Sorry.
Yes. There's that P5B saloon. Saw these driving in before. Let's go and hopefully not wind up that dog. It's good to see a few standards here today.
It's a standard 10.
Well, here's early Wolseley 1500. It's quite an early one with the smaller front side lights. What a brilliant. Oh, you like those, do you?
That was a 1500, just like this mod.
Ooh, what do we have over here? If we go past this TR6, MGB GT, Riley Elf, Astra, Austin 7 box saloon, 1934, an RP. Wow, that's a shiny one. Didn't see that one driving in. Maybe he got in before we did. If he's got any sense, he got in before we did, because it soon got very busy afterwards. Yeah. That's beauty, that, isn't it? Oh, got semaphore pop-up indicators. Don't ever be tempted to try and manually pull those up if they're sticking, because you'll break it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Big old cars or the old rollers and that sort of stuff.
So many cars, lots of XJs along there and a couple of XKs. There's that MGB GT, oh no, what am I talking about? A Roadster, but with a fancy roof on it. So what's the story with that roof? If you know who made that particular roof, let me know in the comments, because I don't think I've seen one like that before. Lovely early 1970s Vauxhall Victor.
Nice.
Yeah, quite handsome, isn't it? It's one of the posh ones, isn't it? So what engine's this one got? Is it the 2.3 perhaps? It's a 2 litre SL. Suzuki Jimny, mid 1980s.
And he won't let car go until he's happy with it.
I guess you're going to die after.
Right. I think we're going to disappear in the direction somewhere over there of the auto jumble area. There's still quite a bit we haven't seen yet. There's a Ford side valve club stand over there which I want to have a look at after, so don't let me forget. Next to a very vivid, very orange F100 we've got a Jensen Healey, also orangey. It's a bit more reddy orange, but yeah, right hand drive.
2 hours and like a 14-hour charge. That's right.
Yeah.
Fuel injection conversion, it says. En route to the auto jumble, we just have to have a look at this Herald Coupe. This is such a rare little car. It's quite an early one. There's 2 versions, 2 different roofs the coupes had. The later ones had the ribs on the side. I think I probably mentioned this when we saw the car coming in before. But this is the early smooth roof Herald Coupe. And that makes it quite unusual. I wonder if it's a 948. If I think on, I'll check. And these early cars had like this sort of strange dashboard, not wood. It's like a composite sort of cardboard almost, I think it was made from, these early Heralds. So that's a real treat to see that. Look at the steering wheel, isn't that in beautiful condition?
Just like the standard steering wheel.
It is very similar. Well, it's standard Triumph, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the style of it.
And it's got the handle in the bonnet as well. So again, another sign that we're looking at a very early, probably 1959, 60-ish Triumph Herald. But yeah, nice. And very, very rare. Here we've got the dicky seat being demonstrated in this old Triumph. Nice. Stainless exhaust on this MG Magnet. The Jensen SV8. They only made not a handful, but relatively speaking, very, very few of those. These are beautiful looking car, aren't they? There's that Triumph Roadster. Riley RM. It's a 59 Caddy. Oh, there's a local Lotus Cortina.
Back there.
Lotus Elan Plus 2. Lovely MG, isn't it?
Fascination, isn't it? It looks like it's been like that for a long time.
Got quite a few pickup trucks there. This sounded very much like a diesel engine in there. We've got another Chevy here, another 3100 half-ton pickup truck. I wonder if that's got its original straight six in it. I hope so. Yeah, and the Chevrolet Apache. So what's that?
I'd probably prefer this.
Late 50s. Could be.
Or a V8 actually.
That's off,
the original one.
that's off an old Guy bus, isn't it? I've no idea what that is.
That's a Hyundai.
Yeah, well, Hyundai, but I don't know what it is. Hyundai! As we keep being told it should be pronounced. So anyway, let's have a quick look. There's a few more American cars around here. Look at that.
Brilliant, isn't it? You could probably fit 4 on the back bench seat.
Yeah, you could park the standard inside, couldn't you? Just look at the length of the wings on that. Wow, what a car. What's this? I don't know, Plymouth maybe? Yeah, it is a Plymouth, yeah.
I kind of think whenever I see like that sort of thing, I think what a lovely car that would have been just like that.
This is the sort of thing that Cold War Motors messes around with, isn't it? These old sort of Plymouths and whatnots of the late 1950s. There's that Cyclops Rover. Slightly later Rover 110, 6-cylinder car. ZT Estate, is that the ZTT, I think. 2200 ST. Beautiful little Rover here, Rover 75. Is that a P3 or a P2? It's a P3, isn't it? Slightly wider, isn't it? These are beautiful. This is a sports saloon. So it's got 2 windows per side, the regular P2s and P3s, and 3 windows per side, or 6 light bodywork as they call them. Early ones also had the spoked wheels. But yeah, the sports saloon with a lower roof line and the 2 windows per side is a very, very sleek looking car, I think. Real nice quality car.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
That's got a lovely sort of spun steering wheel and dash.
Many Triumph TRs here today, many different varieties. Quite a few of these TR250s, the American spec or American market version of the TR5. Ours was fuel injected, the export cars were on twin Strombergs, I think. On the end of the row here we've got a maroon TR6. Well, there's a shape that's familiar to us, a Ford Pop 103E, which was sort of the replacement for the E494A Anglia that we had. This had the 1172 engine, whereas our Anglia's got the 933, but otherwise they're very similar. That's what I said.
They said a few less. Should be a few.
Well, okay. There's that E493A Prefect that came in before. Ford Prefect 100E. There's the 107E that we saw coming in before, and the long queue of traffic that we filmed earlier on today with the overhead valve engine. And at the end of the row, another E493A. No, I didn't, I don't think. I think we'll start heading back to the car and go and have a cup of coffee, because there's been a lot of talking and not enough drinking today, I think. All sorts of Fords on this stand. Granadas, Capris. There's even a Mondeo at the back there. Many magazines for sale. So there's the twin carb engine, the B series engine. We're over in the rear corner of the show now. The hall itself is way over in the distance over there. Scimitar GTC. And here, a Triumph Herald. A lovely old Triumph Herald with a very nice badge on it. Look at that. The Standard Triumph Auto Association.
Not a great spot for selling stuff.
I've got one of those on the... I used to have it on my little Standard 10. So we've got some lock-in filler caps. A few fan belts. Yeah, very bonny two-tone colour car. Very nice indeed. And next to that, the mighty Vauxhall Viscount.
It says Viscount.
Some very non-Vauxhall exhaust sticking out under the sill. I imagine they play quite the tune. This was Vauxhall's top of the tree, top of the range car. 3.3 litres. There we go. Yeah. Viscount Power Glide. A little mini pickup. We've got a Volvo 121 two-door saloon. Looks like it's had a few mods. Two-tone, black roof. I've not seen wheels like that before. Nice mirrors. I like the wing mirrors. Yeah, very clean car. Proper Volvo fuel filler cap.
That was a very good thing to do.
I know. Interesting fact, the four-door Amazons, the 120s, they had fully galvanised sills. But on the two-door, because the back wing forms like the end of the sill, only that bit of the sill is galvanised. This bit here, at the bottom of the wing, isn't galvanised, and that's where they always start rusting. So if you're looking at a two-door in particular, that's a good place to hold your magnet. But yeah, very clean car, this one. Yeah, I saw this glorious Vauxhall Velox driving in before, and yeah, as I was saying, that is a nice lamp, isn't it? It's got a V on it, so is that a proper Vauxhall accessory? That's beauty, that is. Yeah, I think as I mentioned before, the early ones of these, the bonnets could be opened either way, like an old Buick, like a 40s Buick was the same. You could open it on one side and it'd hinge up that way, or if you open it on the other side, it would hinge up that way. The later E-Series Vauxhalls like this didn't have that feature, so whether this car has got that or not, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so this is a middle-of-the-range Velox, 6-cylinder car. But yeah, nice old cruiser this. Look at those very distinctive door handles, so the button's down there and the handle bit's there, as is the lock. Well, lovely 1950s interior, bench seat, all the chrome switches and the instrument surrounds and so on. There's a little radio, mobile radio just hiding down there. Yeah. That's great. I know I featured this one when it was driving in before, but there aren't too many nice 40s, 50s cars here today, so I thought we would really need to concentrate on them because they're a dying breed. You don't see so many of the older cars now at shows like this, so when you see beauties like this old Velox, we've got to give them plenty of attention. Didn't see this before. Ellesmere Port Vauxhall, because they've got a plant over there. Silver anniversary 62 to 87. Quicksilver, a design exercise based on the Astra GTE. Interesting Granada, it's on a German plate, a 2.1 diesel. Not sure I've ever seen one of them before. But it is right-hand drive. Let's have a quick peek in through the window of this glorious Maserati Indy. It's here in the arena. Let's go and have a look. I like the gear selector. Lovely leather smell in there. Have you had the smell of that? The interior. It's good, isn't it?
I've already got 2 500.
There's that Bentley that came in before. Do like that 20 plate on the back. That originally would have been fitted to a lorry, probably in the 30s or the 1940s, when lorries of a certain weight and size were restricted to just 20 miles an hour. Looks like this one's well used, fabric body. The largest gauge on the dash is the tacho, the rev counter there. That's that glorious Humber Hawk we saw before. Is this MG? Is it a YA or a YB? Not quite sure which this is. The larger diameter wheels makes me think it's probably a YA. But very handsome car. I love the way the instruments are in the octagonal shape to match the MG badge. Is it a YA?
It is, yes.
It is a Y. Because am I right in thinking the YB had a smaller diameter wheel?
It did,
yes. Yeah.
And actually the rear wing was made bigger to accommodate the smaller wheel.
Yeah, I've spoken to a chap before who's got like a very light sort of champagne metallic one, the first YB.
Yes.
I saw him driving along this morning actually. I was just trying to compare it in my mind to that.
Yeah.
Because they had slightly smaller wheels, didn't they?
And a few other differences that you don't notice.
Right.
That's the main
difference. No, it's a beauty that is. I love that. Roof down now on the 37 Packard. What a car. Yes. Packard Super 8, straight 8 engine. What a machine that is. It's huge. As much as I like that, I really like the Buick. Again, straight 8 engine. What a great view it must be down the bonnet of that.
What about the upkeep then, Dad? I mean, is it expensive?
Well, I definitely have to keep an eye out for this one in construction again, because you really would.
Do like this roof rack on the Mark 1 Mini, proper old one. Complete with parking light. Nice old luggage as well. A set of golf clubs. How nice is that? Who remembers these little things that you clip on the back edge of your door so you don't chip your paint?
Lots of nice stuff inside, aren't there? It's like you.
Yeah, no room to sit in it, yeah. That's just like our cars, aren't it? So much stuff inside. I like the BMC road map. Might have one or two of those.
Yeah, you do.
And then the back window shelf. Football programme 1964.
See the old cameras?
The what?
Old cameras.
Oh yeah, old cameras, old cine camera. Wow. Someone else who likes their period accessories and gizmos. Still got the original pull door openers. You can just about see that in there, hopefully. Oh, lovely two-tone trim as well. A cracking little Mini that is. This old Peugeot van could almost make me like eating pizza. Oh, I didn't see this before. What a Bobby Dazzler this is. So this is a 1959 Mark 9. You can tell it's a Mark 9 because of the one-piece windscreen. So this is a what engine?
Mark 8s were the same.
Were they?
But the only difference, they didn't have disc brakes.
Right.
This had a bigger engine.
So what size is this then?
The 3.8.
3.8 is it?
XK.
Yeah.
XK engine.
Oh, so they put the 3.8s in them, did they?
Twin carb. The Mark 8s were single carbed and a slightly smaller bore, I think.
Oh,
and no disc brakes, but the Mark 9's the better one because it stops.
It's a heavy car, isn't it? That's a heavy old car.
Nearly 2 tonne.
Yeah, it's beautiful inside, isn't it? It's always fun watching these racing down at the Revival.
Yeah. What's his
Wow.
name? Mr. Bean's got.
Yeah, Rowan Atkinson. Wow, isn't that gorgeous? I could quite easily see myself in one of these. Wow.
I know your voice.
How accommodating is this? Eh?
I know that voice.
Do you?
YouTube channel.
Oh dear. I've been rumbled.
Yeah.
Wow, that is good. So have you had this one long then, or is this a recent?
I had it I rebuilt it, I think I bought it about 5 or 6 years ago now.
Right,
I
yeah.
completely rebuilt it.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's glorious, isn't it?
Took it back to metal and every horrible job
Was it?
done to it.
That is beautiful.
All the boots got a proper boot kit.
Wow, it's huge, isn't it?
And we did all the finishing.
That is beautiful, isn't it? I never really appreciated just how large that boot space is. It really drops down, doesn't it?
It's a straight. You can't get many things. You know, it looks big. But it's kind of
But it doesn't go. It's not very long, but it's just very deep, isn't it? That is fantastic. Looks like this console GT is going to be going fairly soon.
Sounds quite nice.
It certainly does. Quite a few people are starting to disappear now. I think the sun has probably disappeared for the rest of today, so we will start drifting up towards the top end of the field where we are parked, and I think we will probably call it a day. It's been a lot of walking. I've got a horrible feeling this video is going to be very, very long, but please forgive me for that. This is the first really long video of the year because there's been so much to look at. Yes, but you know, we want to try and pack in as many different cars as we can and try and use all the batteries that we've got, so hopefully we've achieved that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Please check out some of the previous show reports that we've done over the last 2 or 3 years or so. Certainly been a great turnout of cars here at Weston Park today, and I think there's another, I've got a feeling there's another one of these shows taking part here later in the year, so we'll try and get down for that one certainly. Other shows that we've got lined up this year include Capesthorne Hall, possibly the North Wales Classic Car Show, the Wem Vehicles of Interest, the Audlam Transport Festival, and quite a few others, so please keep an eye on the channel if you like these show walkarounds. Let me know in the comments which of these cars you'd like to be driving home today. Anyway, there'll be more videos along very, very soon, so thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.